Which is the richest country? The abrupt reply is Qatar. But I will give the list of 15 top richest countries as per their per capita annual average income. If individuals are rich, the country is rich. However, at the end you will find a list of countries who have more money in a collective way. The largest economies in terms of richness and money they have. Thus the answer is supposed to give you a very comprehensive and useful information about top most rich countries in the world at individual citizens level and as an economic powerhouse at collective level. 15. Germany. Germany is a major powerhouse when it comes to economy and they have a massive purchasing power. Several world-leading companies are from Germany, such as Volkswagen, BMW, Siemens, and Adidas just to mention a few. GDP per capita, 52,559. 14. Iceland. In recent years there has been a tourism boom in Iceland, and there seems to be no end in the interest of international visitors. Iceland was hit hard by the financial crisis in 2008, but much thanks to the export of fish and aluminum as well as the influx of tourism made sure that the country recovered quickly. GDP per capita, 55,917. 13. Saudi Arabia. The royal family of Saudi Arabia is one of the richest families in the world, but there is no shortage of other rich oil sheiks and business people in the country. The largest income comes from oil, and the Saudi Arabia has a GDP per capita at 55,944. This is also where Mecca can be found, the holiest place within Islam. GDP per capita, 55,944. 12. Netherlands. The Dutch have been successful in trading since the 1600s where they sailed around the world. Nowadays, they have a very effective food production which makes it possible to export the excess food. Many vegetables that are sold in Europe comes from the Netherlands. They also have a successful oil refining, chemical industry, and machine production. GDP per capita, 56,383. San Marino. San Marino is primarily famous for its banking sector, and the residents are definitely living a wealthy life. Tourism is also contributing to the economy. San Marino is one of the smallest countries in the world, entirely surrounded by Italy. GDP per capita, 60,313. 10. USA. A major world power since a long time that has shaped the world into what it is today. USA is the richest country in the world if you consider nominal GDP, but when measuring the GDP per capita, the United States will come at 10th place among the world's richest countries. The USA has huge income gaps, and there are enormous differences in minimum wages and those who are wealthy. The financial crisis also hit the US economy hard, but they have managed to recover quite well, and the US dollar is as strong as ever. GDP per capita, 62,606. 9. Switzerland. Another country that has made itself famous for being a financial center is Switzerland. And it is the banking and finance services that contribute to a large part of the country's wealthy economy. Switzerland also has an important production industry and tourism. Most of the Swiss would be noted as wealthy in the majority of all countries around the world. For example, 1 liter of milk could easily cost $7, and a regular cleaner or maid could make more than $3,000 per month. GDP per capita, 64,649. 8. Kuwait. Kuwait has large quantities of oil, which is also what makes up the majority of the country's exports. However, they need to import both water and food since they can't produce enough food for its population. But that's not really a problem since most people in Kuwait are wealthy and make a lot of money from the oil. GDP per capita, 67,000. 7. United Arab Emirates. The fact that the United Arab Emirates is one of the richest countries in the world might not be surprising at all, considering the many impressive buildings that can be found in the Emirates. For example, the tallest building in the world and the only 7-star hotel, Burj Al Arab. It's primary oil that has made the Emirates rich, and in recent years they have created a financial center as well that have attracted a lot of wealthy people from around the world. GDP per capita, 69,382. 6. Norwegians became rich from oil and fish. As an example, they introduced salmon for the Japanese people and their sushi. They found huge quantities of oil in the 60s, and they have a capital fund worth $1,092 billion. Almost every Norwegian is wealthy in one way or another, and this has even led to the fact that they import workers from neighboring countries, such as Sweden, for lower-skilled jobs. GDP per capita, 74,356. 5. Ireland. Did you know that both Google and Facebook have their European office in Ireland? Many companies is attracted to have Ireland as their base due to tax advantages. This has given a huge rise for the Irish economy, and they are now ranked as the 5th richest country in the world. GDP per capita, 78,785. 4. Brunei. This small little sultanate has become rich thanks to their huge resources of oil and natural gas. Brunei doesn't have either tax or VAT. GDP per capita, 79,530. 3. Singapore. One of the world's top financial centers that have become experts in importing products and services to resell. Many Singaporeans are grown up with a desire to become rich, and with the right mentality, willpower and conditions, much can happen. The movie Crazy Rich Asians take place in Singapore and gives some insights into the rich society and the wealthiest people in the country. GDP per capita, 100,345. 2. Luxembourg. Another small country that has become rich thanks to banking and financial services. They also have a strong industry of steel, rubber, and chemicals. Several of the main headquarters of the EU can be found in the capital of Luxembourg. GDP per capita, 106,705. 1. Qatar. Qatar is the richest country in the world according to GDP per capita. Wealth primarily comes from oil and natural gas. Qatar also tries to lie at the forefront when it comes to technical innovation and making themselves independent of fossil fuels in the future. This is also where one of the best airlines in the world has its main base, Qatar Airways. GDP per capita, 130,475. Taiwan and Macau would all be listed as some of the richest countries in the world, if they were independent countries. Also Monaco and Liechtenstein would probably rank well on this list, but they are not members of the IMF, and are thus not included. More about the richest country in the world. The United States is de facto the richest country in the world if you consider the economy as a whole, but if you measure it by GDP per capita, then Qatar is the world's richest country. GDP per capita is better to paint the whole picture of wealth in a country. In short, the United States has the largest amount of money, even though they also have a massive state debt. China has the second largest amount of money in the world, and are expected to precede the USA in the future and thus become the richest country in the world. However, the reason why neither the United States or China could be ranked at the top in this list of the richest countries in the world is that there are so many poor people living within their borders, which lowers their GDP per capita significantly. The largest economies in the world. So, now that you know which are the richest countries in the world, ranked by GDP per capita, it will of course also be interesting to know about the world's largest economies. In next part of this video. Thank you for watching. And finally don't forget to like and subscribe MARINO.